Time for another video. Remember, if you like these kind of videos, like, sub, silly comments, share, whatever, it helps the channel. Let's go back to, it's been almost a year since I think I did it. Those, how would I change Street Fighter if I was making a Street Fighter game, right? And so this is going to be some stuff that I've talked about before, but there's a little bit more production value with pictures here. Maybe that will help you use your imagination a little bit. And maybe come at this from the perspective of how you can put a simple sort of system into a game and you can produce potentially very versatile, drastic, creative results, potentially, right? Even if there's something simple, right? Because you do, you know what I mean? I mean, combos are such, I know a lot of haters think that I only care about combos, but I've always said it's actually one of the least things I care about. I just do it because I can do it, but I even say it many times, I think combos are almost a necessary evil of video games. I don't think they're all good. And I've always said that, you know, even like, especially newer King of Fighter games, whatever, everything just juggles, all that kind of shit. It's just so completely boring to me. It's not imaginative. It's not creative just to be like, oh, this juggles, blah, blah, blah. How fucking boring, right? But games do need, combos are a necessary evil, right? So what would I do if I was making a Street Fighter game, if I was going to redesign it? And of course, hopefully you've watched those other videos, but to kind of go over it again, more of an old school kind of Street Fighter 2 game. Juggle wise, again, maybe something between, you know, Super Turbo, Alpha, CVS2, nothing too complicated, but every game needs a new spin. What is something we could put a spin on Street Fighter 2 that could produce that although is very simple and easily digestible to a newer player, can produce very versatile results and even complicated results that a more advanced player could enjoy, right? And it's actually very simple what you could do. You could just add something, and I know this number meter thing is going to be kind of weird because it's a weird number. Maybe say it takes 2/3 of your meter. I think it's too strong for half a bar. Not quite good enough for 3/4, but I'd rather have something be convoluted number-wise and actually work when you actually play the game. But anyway, add a system where you can special move to special move. Cost 2/3 of your bar, right? And when you do this next special move, when you do it, it causes a counter hit or a juggle state that normally does not have a juggle state if we're thinking about old school Street Fighter. So keep that in your mind, right? And the one caveat to this, if you watch those videos that I've made before, is that once, say like Ryu's Dragon Punch does not normally juggle whatsoever. So even if you were to DP again, you can't do it 3 times. That's not going to work. It has like a little asterisk mark that you get that one free juggle point, whatever, but it's not going to let you do 3 hits, so it just juggles like that. But anyway, let me get into something really interesting you could do with this, right? So here we have a fun combo video kind of meme thing that used to be in Championship Edition with Ken was the egg beater hurricane kick, right? But realistically, it was more of kind of a meme combo video kind of thing. There weren't a lot of realistic setups to make it work, right? You know, versus Balrog, you know what I mean? He had actual setups that you could do it, but not a lot of real setups because it had to hit in a specific way, right? So let's see if just what a simple system like this, we can actually make the egg beater hurricane kick a real thing. So let's look at this right here. We go down a little bit. We have Hadouken, right? Now, if you know an old school Street Fighter 2, normally most special moves, when they hit an opponent, they automatically make you stand up, right? Maybe you didn't know that, right? Fireball makes you stand up even if you're ducking. But there is a caveat, right? Fireball effects, actual when your character is flaming, no homo. When your character is flaming, a no homo flamer, they actually keep their stature, okay? And I made a video about this, how there are some obscurities actually in Super Turbo that is not well known that you can actually abuse, perhaps in a sense, or use. Right, so let's look at this. So Ken's regular fireball, Ryu's regular fireball. If the character's ducking, they stand. If they're standing or they're ducking from a flame effect, they stay ducking, right? So let's remember this as well, right? So just something simple like this. Imagine if Ken were to do his flaming DP. The first hit of the flaming DP, the no homo DP, always makes the guy duck, right? So now just something so simple as that, we have now added a way that you could potentially get, let me get my little marker here, because we have very high production values on the FGC on MBC. Just the flaming effect always makes the guy duck for Ken's flame DP, right? The first hit at least, right? Well, now with this simple system, if Ken does this and then does a hurricane kick, he could actually set up an egg beater hurricane kick, because if you recall what I said, one of the changes for Ken that I would do is I would actually make one of his hurricane kicks not actually hit the knee part for one of them. So he would actually have a hurricane kick that can actually put these two components together. So there you go. There's an interesting Ken. Maybe does a reversal DP. He has 66% meter, whatever it is. First hit hits, then he goes into a hurricane kick. If it's versus a guy that is big enough to be hit by it ducking like that. You've now added a realistic way in a match to hit a egg beater hurricane kick combo, right? And then after that, egg beater, you can link off at whatever, right? Pretty fun. Now it goes from being a meme combo to an actual real kind of strategy, right? What else could we do this? Look how crazy you could get with this shit, right? Maybe Ken does a jump in medium kick, crosses up, stand fierce, combo to stand fireball, right? Boom. He uses this new system in play, right? Boom. Then he starts to, oh, why isn't the marker not on? Sorry, my bad. Boom. He does the 66% meter cancel, egg beater hurricane kick, links off it. He does a jab. He does the funky kick. And the sweeper is like, whoa, man, this is automatically added a crazy fucking combo if the character ducking is big enough to hit by this. And don't be a bitch. Moves, character-specific combos are fucking cool, okay? It makes it fun. It adds a little bit of a surprise element. I mean, there could be, so, look, what a simple thing. And then we also have, if we're thinking about a game like Super Turbo, right? Ken's axe kick, right? It's actually not, he doesn't get the same kind of reward as someone like Ryu when he does it, right? Because Ryu's so close, he can do a duck forward, fireball, super fireball, whatever it is. Generally sweep, but you get the idea. Ken is not as versatile in this aspect, right? But with this system, because Ken's overhead, although slower than a Ryu overhead, if he has meter and he's versing a big character, he gets potentially explosive. You might potentially fucking explode if you actually get hit off of this, because boom, axe kick to egg beater hurricane kick, boom, 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 link off it, boom, the guy's dizzy. People are like, oh, that sounds cheap, maybe. You know what? People, as many people are like, oh, I don't like things that are just so explosive. Yes, you fucking do. Stop being a bitch. Stop lying. You know you do, dude, right? Another thing, let's take this a step further, right? Maybe Ken does a flaming DP, the no homo DP. Hits ducking, he cancels it into a fireball. I'm sure everyone has seen it because it's such a, you know what? I know some people like doing this shit, but a lot of combo video people, they always want to do the combo of showing Ken do a slow fireball into a hurricane kick and linking off of it. It's such a cliche Super Turbo combo that I feel like combo video people like doing. Everyone likes to copy people. It's so boring, it's not exciting. But the point of showing this is, imagine you actually had a potential setup for this though. Imagine Ken hit a straight punch with a flaming DP. He does a slow fireball, right? Boom, the guy is in stun. The fireball eventually hits them slow. Then he does the hurricane kick. The hurricane kick hits late because remember, the fireball, even if it hits, it's not a flaming, it's not a homo fireball. So it makes the guy then standing. They stand up, which then would link the hurricane kick, which then you could link off of it into something that's like, whoa, you just made a combo video that is a fucking not even interesting combo video since everyone does it. And you made it a potential real match combo that is actually fun and exciting, right? Let's take this more. That girl, I don't know why that girl messages me so much. Anyway. Don't distract me. Let's look at a character like Ryu. What is something a character like Ryu could do with this kind of system, right? We have like his jump, medium punch is a juggle move. We have fireball, dragon punch, hurricane kick, right? I already said before, because of the way the system would work, you'd put in a little asterisk mark, code in the algorithm, whatever, that you cannot, that a move that does not normally juggle, it gets one freebie, okay? So you don't want a player to be doing something like, oh, well, I did a Ryu's DP into another DP. And then since it hit, now I get my one free juggle, so I DP again. Put in a little code in the algorithm that if the move does not normally juggle, you only get that one freebie. Because you don't want people to do boring shit, right? To just abuse the game system in too much of a simple way. You want there to be some process, right? So of course Ryu could do a DP, then he cancels it to a DP, then it hits, then a hurricane kick, or Ryu could do a DP to a hurricane kick, then a DP, whatever. But let's make this a little bit more complicated with someone Ryu who has like a normal move that just juggles, right? Well, say Ryu, he does a combo to fireball. The fireball hits, he does a hurricane kick, the hurricane kick hits the guy. They pop up in the air. Normally, you can't juggle after a hurricane kick, but because you did this new system, the gimmick of the game, now Ryu can hit with his jab. The jab will juggle, and then because you have a sort of ghetto kind of mix of a super turbo to an alpha kind of thing, if you know alpha, you can do a stand jab, jump up, medium punch. I was like, whoa, okay, this is becoming a little more versatile for a character like Ryu, who maybe isn't getting crazy versatile shit like this, right? But like, oh, okay, we have a little bit more. This is kind of interesting, right? Maybe Ryu, if you've ever played Alpha 2 and Alpha 3, Ryu has that jump, that's his stand, or the strong dragon punch, not fierce, strong dragon punch, the medium one, knocks the guy at full screen. Who knows? Maybe Ryu's medium punch, dragon punch does this in this game. Boom, hits with a dragon punch, cancels to a fireball. Boom, it's taken a long time to hit, but the guy's flying all the way back here. They're going to get hit back here very slow. And then if you've ever seen a lot of those old kind of combo videos, Ryu tiger knee hurricane kicks to get back in. The fireball hits. Then Ryu is in range right now. Now, because that fireball created a juggle potential or a juggle state because of this gimmick of the game, now he could DP for another hit. Or he could stand jab to this. Whatever. Do you see the versatility of this? Or maybe something like Ryu does a fireball. Two, maybe Ryu has a counter hit fireball with Ryu in the game. It could be something so weird, so specific, you know what I mean? Just like a once in a blue moon, but actually there kind of thing. If you spaced it correctly, Ryu, if you did maybe from like a duck strong, duck forward, whatever it was, link to a fireball against certain characters, boom, fireball hits. Then it cancels to a slow red fireball. It hits just late enough that it hits the guy, and from that counter hit stun, you can then hit a rush fierce and then do a rush fierce combo. Again, the versatility with this is actually pretty extreme, even though simple at face value, right? Look at a character like Guy. Look at a simple thing what Guy could do. Have you guys ever played Capcom Fighting Jam? And I think he had it in Street Fighter 4 the Omega. Let me make sure this is recording. It's still recording, right? If you ever played that Capcom Fighting Jam, and I think he has it in Street Fighter 4 Omega, Guy has this weird funky kick. He does the flip kick, but then he can do this big roundhouse kick after it, and it juggles the guy. Very minimal use, though, for what it is, but it's there. Excuse me, but how could we make this in this kind of game work? And it could actually work really awesome, right? So imagine a character shoots a fireball at Guy. Boom, he shoots the fireball at Guy. Guy does the horizontal through it. He does the elbow through it. But he has 66% meter. He then cancels. He bush and flips in. He hits the guy with the elbow. The opponent pops up just high enough that the first hit of this thing whiffs, right? Then the second hit of this thing whiffs, and then boom, now this will juggle, right? Because normally this move does not juggle. Normally this move is so slow that trying to do it in real combos is not very realistic. It's a once in a blue moon move. Now you've given it a two and once in a blue moon, whatever it is. It's a little bit more realistic, right? It's like, wow, someone shot a fireball, guy had this much meter, horizontal's through it, bush and flips in, he hits the guy, now the bush and flip, although normally it does cause a state where if you hit the guy, you could then do a hurricane kick after it. Well, because you canceled it, you actually get a little bit more juggle potential because now you can do a move that normally does not juggle and hit with it. So you could do this move. Now this move will juggle, and this will allow this to hit. So basically what you could think of that as, this move always has a juggle potential no matter what, right? But there's no realistic way to hit that juggle potential unless you've used this system in a sense, right? And then you juggle off it, all that kind of stuff. It's like, wow, this is becoming, you know, kind of cool, right? And of course you could do this not only just in combos, you could do this for pressure too, obviously, right? And of course, not just these characters could get on the fun. Look at a character like Zangief, something so fucking simple with a character like Zangief. Say a guy jumps in on Zangief or they're trying to go over them. Zangief does his lariat, it hits the guy, boom, the guy pops up in the air, Normally this does not juggle, so boom, he does this, it hits, and it gives you one free juggle state for a thing doesn't the juggle, so boom. He jumps up and he does the dizzy headbutt. Boom, Zangief has dizzied you from a single DP. Every character can use something like this, especially when you have a game that at quotation marks, face value is so simple, right? Again, I say quotation marks because I don't necessarily think that all games are more complicated than Street Fighter 2, but for sake of argument, to see the perspective I'm getting at, from a certain level, Street Fighter 2 is kind of simple, right? But even characters who have such a simple thing, it doesn't even have to be something as crazy as Ken. But I mean, Ken is just such a great example because, again, you give him a hurricane kick where one of the hurricane kicks, the knee will not hit right when he comes out. So you can do a championship edition. And it's why some characters are just absolutely going to explode if they fight Ken. If they're tall enough to be hit by this ducking. And you're like, wow, dude, that's insane. And it's fucking fun. And there's so much shit you can do with it. And then Ryu, who has a move that already juggles already in this game, who can use it in a versatile way. Guy can make you explode off of going through a fireball if he has the meter. Even a character like Zangief, if you don't think is a combo character, something so simple like this, like, wow, he could use that. Now, of course, you're not going to get this mid-screen because he has to neutral jump straight up. But do you see the explosive factor if Zangief has you in the corner or something like that? You're like, wow, dude, I am scared. I am scared to jump away from Zangief. I am scared to try to jump away from spinning pile driver mix-ups. Because if I guess wrong and Geef has this much meter and he hits me with the lariat, well, boom, hits me with the lariat, then this is going to juggle and it's going to cause a juggle state. Neutral jump up, I'm dizzy. Then whatever combo he wants to do. Even characters that are simple can use this simple system for versatile results. All right. So sometimes I talk about you want things in games to be easily digestible while allowing room to be creative, allowing room for random situations and matches to happen. Again, this doesn't have to just be with combos. Of course, a character like Guy, you know what I mean? He could do, maybe he running overhead and you blocked it. Well, he didn't want, it's like, you blocked it, so I'm going to run cancel again to make myself safe, or whatever it might be. You know what I mean? There's a lot of stuff you can do with this. It's a very simple but versatile spin on Street Fighter, and it doesn't need to get too complicated because, like I said, I think I think a lot of juggles and all this kind of stuff, they get boring. I'm not impressed when everything is just juggle. That's why the juggle system in this, it should be very easy to understand. The only caveat, like I said, really is because you don't want someone to be able to just do a DP. You know, because like, wow, that would just be the most damaging option, right? You want there to be some kind of creativity. So if a move does not normally juggle, you'd have to put something in the code, a little bit of an asterisk mark, like, hey, you get one free. When you do this cancel, you get the one freebie, but that's it. You know what I mean? That's really the only kind of caveat, and I don't think it would be that hard to really think about. So, and, I've talked about this with some other people too, and like I said, the meter, I would add the fucking I would add back in, you know what I mean, the level 2, what is it called? I'm sorry. Those level 2 cancels from Capcom vs. SNK 2. I think those are fun. I don't know why they never had those again. But I would add that in. What I would do personally, like I said, I know it's a little bit convoluted, and I've talked to friends before about this, and they actually said they think the worst thing is the meter because they think the meter is kind of convoluted and would look kind of weird, but it makes the most sense to me when I thought about balancing it if I was actually making a Street Fighter game. So really, again, what you would do is, boom. I know it's not super Street Fighter, but you know what, dude? It makes the most sense to me. Boom. I said it. Go watch those other videos how I said it. Boom. At 50%, you get a level 1 super. Most characters only have level 1 supers. It's not as think of it more of like a King of Fighters almost, not like a level 1, level 2, level 3. I don't think that needs to be in a Street Fighter game. I mean, I know it's kind of Street Fighter, but I would just go the King of Fighter route, you know what I mean? So you have 100% meter. If you have a level 3, it takes 100% meter. But most supers are just level 1. Then if you have 75% meter, you can do the CVS2 cancel, whatever. Super move, cancel into something, cost that much. And I know it sounds weird, but if you have 66% meter, maybe you'd have to put something like your bar will be flashing when you're at 66% to give there some kind of a visual cue. Something like that. You know, if you're at 66%, you get that kind of thing. And then I said, you know, EX moves, I know again it's kind of convoluted. Maybe you have to put maybe you'd have to have the meter say EX when you have an EX move. Again, a little bit of a complicated meter management thing for Street Fighter, but I think it's doable, even if it looks a little bit weird at face value for Street Fighter. But again, EX moves, I already said how I do EX moves. EX moves, not every move is an EX move. Every character just has a specific move, and it's very versatile, or potentially what it could be. It's very versatile in the grand scheme of games, what could be an EX move. Like I said, Ryu's EX move would be just his thrust kick. There you go. You know what I mean? He doesn't need any other EX moves, potentially. His EX move is a thrust kick. You know what I mean? Go watch those videos. I talked about it before, but anyway, just talking about what I would do if I had changed Street Fighter. I know I talked about this before. And again, hopefully you came at this perspective of how you can do something so simple and you can create drastic results that is still creative and fun and will lead to fun match situations too. I mean, again, you just think, wow, I just hit a random fireball here. Oh, I just randomly DP'd a poke right there. You know what I mean? It's actually very versatile. And you can be a little pre-programmed in terms of, you know, like, oh, we want to add a medium kick, hurricane kick where the knee is not going to hit the guy at first because, you know, you want this kind of stuff to be possible. But it works. Trust me. When have I been wrong, really? But anyway, remember, if you like this kind of videos, like, substitute, comment. Helps the channel. The end.